sabihin yung baka. Ha? Kung wala, tanggalin natin. At kung pag meron, balik natin, walang problema.
Good morning everyone, MMDA back on the road right now. They're on Palanca streets in Manila City. Of course this street has a big problem with illegally parked trucks, although allegedly there are people collecting money and allowing those trucks to park there. You see right now the sidewalk clearing team are cutting this electrical wire. Do you think it's going to a meter or do you think it's a jumper? Anyway, it's going to this vendor stall here, so I think they'll be loading this on the back of the trucks and see it's an obstruction in the road. And over here they're taking another vendor stall that was obstructing the sidewalk. Over here you'll see one of the MMDA from Western issuing a ticket to this truck or this trailer. It will be illegal parking unattended, which is 2,000 peso, plus obstruction, which is 1,000 peso, so a total of 3,000 peso for this trailer. Same for the one over there. Over here is an RE tricycle, often mistaken for electric, but it actually has a 200cc engine inside. Unfortunately there's no plate on the back, so they can't issue a ticket and leave it with the vehicle, and there's no driver to hand over a license. So I think this will have to go on the back of a tow truck, and the towing crew are just taking this one away now. They do have a bit of a problem because there's no plates on the back. These can actually be registered with LTO, and they don't have any access to the engine number or chassis number, so it's going to make it a little bit hard to document it. A lot of these tricycles are actually used as colorum, carrying passengers for money without any kind of franchise or permit, although I don't know for this specific one. And you'll see they just loaded another tricycle onto the tow truck. They couldn't issue a ticket and leave it with the vehicle because half of the license plate is missing. Now when you issue a ticket to a plate number, it prevents that vehicle from being registered the next year if they have unpaid tickets. The problem with tricycles is they often don't register them. Like this one here, last registered 2015. So even if you issue a ticket to the plate number, there's a good chance he'll never pay that ticket. And over here you'll see the sidewalk clearing team are working on removing this tubing and this chain. Someone's blocked it off to try and claim the sidewalk, but this is a public place, not a private property. And you see they've nearly finished removing that chain. Like I mentioned earlier, this is really meant to be a public sidewalk where people can walk through. Although there's a lot of other obstructions, like right here you can see a big pile of sand, so maybe they'll have to issue a ticket to the business and then tell them, hey, you need to move this, because this isn't something they can do, the MMDA, by themselves, at least not today. They'd need a few trucks here to remove all these construction materials. Every time the MMDA have gone here to Palanca, these two lanes have been partially blocked by barricades and by parked vehicles. And it looks like today they're going to try and remove some of that. So that will really help decongest this area, because this is right next to a turn, so people turn on here and it's immediately blocked. Remember, this is not the first time the MMDA have been here. They've been here many times. They've asked the barangay many times to take care of this. Unfortunately they haven't, so that's why they have to start confiscating items. This MMDA truck is really a bit too small for this job, but their main truck had a puncture this morning, so they had to swap for this one. Although even their main truck is too small, to be honest. They need a larger truck for everyday operations. And if you look further down the street, you'll see another truck that has a ticket on the windscreen. Funny, they have an MMDA sticker and a Manila sticker, but anyone can buy those for like 20 peso. It doesn't mean anything. They'll still ticket the vehicle. And another one over here again, obstruction and illegal parking, so that's 3,000 peso per vehicle. And they just stopped one more motorcycle over here. You see the lady on the back isn't wearing a helmet, and they have an excess passenger, a young girl on the front, so they'll issue a ticket, excess passenger and no helmet, plus wearing slippers for the driver. And this gentleman over here is also being issued a ticket for not wearing his helmet. He has a helmet, just decided not to wear it, so unfortunately that's a 1,500 peso mistake. If you're wondering why people are walking in the road here, it's because of these vendors occupying the sidewalk. The MMDA did clear this before, and then a few weeks later they received a letter from Manila City Hall and from the head of MTPB saying, hey, please don't touch those, they're okay with us, we're allowing them. So bad luck for pedestrians, unfortunately, but good luck for the vendors. And next to those stores are two tricycles that they'll be impounding. Both of the drivers said they don't have a license, so they're just waiting now for the tow truck to come in and take these away. This one over here is also for impounding, legal parking obstruction. There's no plate, so they can't issue a ticket. Barangay Tanod came along and tried to take it away. They asked him, is this yours? He said no, so they said just leave it. Either they need a licensed driver who can take the ticket and drive the vehicle away, or it will be impounded on a tow truck. And they just stopped this motorcycle here. Unfortunately, back rider, no helmet. And one more motorcycle stopped here. You can see there's a young child between the parents. Unfortunately, no helmet. So excess passenger plus no helmet. And one more motorcycle. Unfortunately, back passenger, no helmet. Over here they've stopped this tricycle for verification because this style of motorcycle is not designed for having a sidecar. So they'll check the registration document now and see if it's really registered with sidecar or without. And there you go, registration document says without sidecar, and the driver said he doesn't have a license. So he's carrying passengers for money, putting their safety in his hands, but he doesn't have a license and the vehicle is registered without sidecar. There's a sticker on the handlebar that says this was impounded and released just 1 week ago by the MTPB. I asked the driver how much did it cost him. He said 500 peso. So he doesn't have a license. The vehicle is registered without sidecar. It was impounded by MTPB, and then for just 500 peso they released it and he's back on the road again. And they just stopped this motorcycle here. Unfortunately there's 4 people on board and 2 on the back don't have any helmets. One more motorcycle over here they've stopped. Lady on the back, no helmet. They wanted to go directly in here, but they blocked it off because once a motorcycle goes on private property, it's very difficult to go in and get them again. And in comes one more, no helmet and dress code violation for the slippers. And one more over here, you can see the passenger isn't wearing a helmet and the driver only has a bicycle helmet. One of the drivers that was stopped without a license has gone to get his friend who does have a license, and he's saying, hey, can you just ticket my friend and then let me go? Of course, the reality of that is that he'll just continue driving this again. And you see the tow crew are just taking the tricycles over to the trucks now. And here's that motorcycle that they chased down a few minutes ago. Back rider, no helmet, unfortunately. And it turns out that bike will actually be impounded because the driver doesn't have a license. He only has a student permit. And one more here, holding the helmet instead of wearing it, unfortunately. 1,500. And one more over here, Western issuing a ticket. Young lady, schoolgirl on the back, no helmet, unfortunately. And one more over here, young lady not wearing a helmet. I won't include all of them in today's video because there's really just too many. It's not that they're picking on motorcycles, it's just very common here for people not to wear helmets. And you'll see they actually took that red truck from earlier that was in the road. It's been there for so long. They're asking now to see the permit or memorandum of agreement for these tents. I don't think they have one though. I think they just have a letter from City Hall.
Kasi January, pinayagan ko kayo, di ba? Kasi sabi nyo, ilalakad nyo yung papel. Sige, pinagbigyan ko. Eh, ano na ngayon, March? Wala pa rin papel.
Di ba ka po may
Tapos,
papel, wala lang sa
pa rin.
kanila.
Oh.
Kasi
Yan, baka na
po,
naman.
hindi, pumunta po talaga dito si Sir D.
Kung meron na kayo.
Pumunta po dito, wala po.
Mama, kung meron talagang papel, meron na kayong kopya niya. Ha? Huwag niyong sabihin yung baka. Ha? Kung wala, tanggalin natin. At kung pag meron, balik natin, walang problema.
Request din yan.
Oo nga sir, nakalagay naman dito sir, authorized letter, authorized vendor. Meron pong si Dennis Alcoreza dyan.
Opo. Sir, ganito to, papaliwanag ko lang. Ito yung request letter. So dapat to, may tugon, may sagot.
Opo, kasi nung tumawag po ako kay Sir Francisco Martinez po, meron na po sa sinabi, may basbas na puro kami. Kaya pinakuha na
wala
po.
yung hinahanap ni
Kailan
sir.
lang po yan, sir?
Opo, kaya yung hinahanap ni sir, ng task force commander namin, yung basbas na dokumento, hindi pwedeng salita.
Kasi po, ito po, makasingit lang po
Sige
ako.
po.
Nung kinuha po nila yan, ang hinahanap po ng kumuha, authorized letter.
Okay.
Ngayon po, nung nakakuha ko ng authorized letter, pinakita ko si kay Sir Francisco.
Opo.
Inokay naman niya.
Martinez po yan, di ba? So ito yung ngayon, yung issue nyo, kinumpis ka. Pinayagan kayong kunin. Pero iba naman itong usapan ngayon. Kailangan, may permit po tayo ngayon at pwede kayong mag-bend dito.
Kasi napunta po rito si Sir Alcoreza.
Wala na pong hinahanapin dokumento na approval. This is a request.
January pa.
Ito lang po ang mano ko, sir.
Okay.
Pwede po ba kami humingi ng ilang araw lang po?
Boss, January last ko binalikan to, di ba? Binalik
Oo nga
niyo
po.
to, di ba?
Opo.
Yan din sinabi niyo sa amin ng January.
Ito po, pinilit po namin.
Kaya nga, pinagbigyan namin kayo. Ano na ngayon, March na.
Ay, hindi, kailan lang naman po ito, sir?
Hindi, March, January ako last na pumunta. Kinumpiska ko to last year pa. Di ba?
By December
O, January, bumalik ako.
December po yata.
Bumalik ako January, nakabalik na to, di ba?
O, di ba, mga December.
November pa nga kami kasi December kayo nakakuha ng letter.
Authorized letter po.
Hindi po, ito po yung request.
Request lang.
Request yan, sir.
Authorization.
Ba't po nakalagay
Yung
doon,
kinumpis ka,
authorized?
Sinasabi po dyan, kayo yung mga autorisadong vendor. So yung pong hinahanap ni sir, permit na kayo ay talagang authorized.
Pwede ko pa tawagin si Chairman
Sige
para
po,
magkaawis tayo.
paulit-ulit lang tayo dito.
The vendors are now complaining, saying it's always discussions, which is kind of ironic because they're the ones with the excuses. They do not have a permit, and I don't think they'll ever get one because who's going to put their name on a permit saying, yes, you can do business on the sidewalk that's meant for pedestrians? As far as I know, the law does not allow that. People often send me videos and photos complaining about Manila City and ask why doesn't the MMDA do anything. The truth is, it's all allowed by the city. These vendors here, it's allowed. These parked vehicles over here, it's allowed. What they do is they issue a mower. I think the guy here is paying 30,000 a month, and then what he does is he resells it, so he collects money from each parked vehicle and from businesses that want parking in front of it. These vendors here, permitted by the city, they just go and pay for a hawker's permit. So everything you see is actually permitted by the city, and that's the problem. That's why MMDA are unable to make much of a difference in Manila City, because it's all legalized at the local level. And look, the barangay now turning up. None of them have helmets. Incredible.